I hope you're having a wonderful beginning of November. It's a new month. We're still in the Burr months, which are my favorite. I'm going to be thriving from now until New Year's. We're just having a great time. I thought that it would be a good time to go through and rate the lowest rated books I've read. So I've seen quite a few videos of people doing this. I think the first one I saw was Jean from Bookish Thoughts. But I saw her doing it, and then now I've seen a few other people. I just think this is a fun time. So that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to go to my Goodreads and go to my red shelf, organize it in descending order, and talk through the books and see if I agree with the low rating that they got or if maybe I disagree. I don't know. It'll be a good time. So let's just get started. So I honestly don't use Goodreads that much. I don't really look at this, so I see that there's been kind of an update. But I don't know, I have lots of issues with Goodreads itself, and I am using a Google Sheets spreadsheet to track my reading this year, which I'm really enjoying. So I mostly just kind of go on Goodreads to make sure it's up to date, so it has my most read books, but I tend to do that at the end of the month, so you'll see that Sweet Bitter's up there. I've read books since then, but I kind of just dump all my books there at the end of the month. Anyway, so we're going to go to sort by average rating. So I haven't done this yet. I don't know. Ooh, let's do a little prediction. So my predictions of what are going to be at the lowest rated. I've read some not great romance in my time, so I feel like those are going to be in the lowest. But beyond that, I really don't know. So the first book that pops up, I think is really funny. It's the AP US History textbook. I think this is hilarious. If you saw my tier ranking every book I read in school, you will have seen that I sometimes would put in a book that I didn't need to put on Goodreads just so I could have more increased books read that year or more pages read, so that was really why I put this in here. I think it's hilarious though that it has 2 ratings, and of those 2 it has an average of 2.5 stars, which is insanely low. Okay, do I think it should be that low? No. I didn't rate this, and I don't think it's a book that should be rated. I'm sure that the people who rated this low are just people that were upset that they had to read it in general. But that's a fun one to start with. I don't have much insight on that. It was a textbook. The next one, Thirsty by M.T. Anderson. I don't remember reading this. Okay, so I rated it 2 stars, and the average rating is 3.25. I read this in 2014. That seems like forever ago. I mean, I guess it was. That was 6 years ago. 6 years ago. Okay. Wow, that really threw me for a loop. We're in 2020. 2014 was 6 years ago. Wow, I'm gonna be feeling that for a while. Anyway, if I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure that John Green recommended this book. I could be wrong, but something in my gut is saying that he had a book recommendation video and he was like, you should read Thirsty. And I was like, okay, got it. Clearly I didn't like it. Let's see what I remember. I think it's about vampires, and that could be because there's some vampire teeth on the cover. I don't know. Let's go and see. I'm going to read the synopsis and see if that jogs my memory. So it says, all Chris really wants is to be a normal kid, to hang out with his friends, avoid his parents, and get a date with Rebecca Schwartz. Unfortunately, Chris appears to be turning into a vampire, so while his hometown performs an ancient ritual that keeps... I'm not going to try with that name. Chick Moochgar? Oh god. The vampire lord, locked in another world, Chris desperately tries to save himself from his own vampiric fate. He needs help, but whom can he trust? A savagely funny tale of terror, teen angst, and suspense, and satire from celebrated the author. Okay. So this didn't tell me much other than it's about vampires, which I already knew. Did not ring a bell, but what I think is interesting is that apparently it's a satire, and I'm gonna guess. I don't know, I'm gonna look at my review, but I'm gonna guess that I didn't know it was a satire, and so I thought it was just bad. So it looks like I did not write a review, which is not helpful in this situation. Okay, so after reading a bit about it and not having my own review to go off of, it seems like it may be an allegory for being gay. I've also seen people saying that it's depressing. I would have to guess that I did not understand that it's a satire, and that just probably didn't make me happy. You know, I'm guessing if it was a sad book, I would have rated it low just because of that. That's the kind of reader I was in high school. So, I don't know. This was an interesting one. I don't know what to say about this. I really wish I remembered more. I really wish I'd written a review, but I had strong feelings about it at the time, and looks like some other people had strong feelings about it, but I don't know why. Okay, so the next book is Sweet Bitter, and this one I do remember a lot about. So, Sweet Bitter follows Tess. So Sweet Bitter follows Tess after she graduates from college. She does the big move up to New York City and starts her life there. She starts working in a very glitzy and famous restaurant. So it's just her figuring out the dynamics in the restaurant and figuring out how to be there. It's just her life, and it's very messy. It's so messy, but I really enjoyed it. So I think it's really interesting to see it on here. So this has an average rating of a 3.29. I was really surprised to see this so low. This is only my third book that I've talked about, and I think that's kind of crazy. I don't know. I truly don't know why it's so low. I'm guessing the people said it was pretentious. I didn't get that feeling, but I think it's also because I just had come off of reading a very pretentious book. I don't know. I could be wrong, but I didn't feel like the author was being pretentious. I felt like I was reading about very pretentious characters, but I find that that's different. It's that thing where I'm not going to rate a book low just because I don't like the characters. I didn't really like the characters, at all. That doesn't mean I didn't like the book. And it kind of felt like we were supposed to not love that the characters were acting the way that they were. I don't know. This one's super interesting to me that it's so lowly rated. This review is mean. This reviewer compared it to terrible MFA writing. The self-indulgent meandering that the reader is forced to endure as the dim-witted main character blunders around life only is saved by the occasional inadvertently funny passage or moment when one of the characters rightfully give the main character shit for being a complete moron. That annoys me. Because, yeah, the character's allowed to fuck up. What I loved about this book is it was so present. This character is just living her life in the moment so intensely. And yeah, I had lots of issues with it. She was not smart. Sure, she wasn't a perfect character, but, why does she need to be? Are we going to say that we only can read books of characters that make all the right decisions? I doubt that. I don't know. I haven't looked into it. And I don't want to. I don't care. There's a level of I get out of books whatever I get out of them. I don't need to look in to see what the author's trying to say with it. I doubt that the author's saying that we should be like Tess and walk through life in her shoes and do exactly what she's trying to do. Probably not. If the author said that, I'd be like, okay, well that's not great because Tess really fucks up. But again, why does that mean that we shouldn't be reading about that? Yeah, so I think ultimately people are talking about the characters' decision makings and a lack of plot, which are all valid criticisms. They're just not ones that bothered me in the moment. Some of the criticisms I don't feel like were valid, but I was not bothered by not liking these characters, and I felt like that was intentional. Again, I'm not going to look in to see if the author wants you to love the characters and think that they're the best people in the world. That's not going to help me in any way, so I'm not going to do that. Oh no, that was an interesting one. I'm not this isn't one of my favorite books ever. I really enjoyed it, and I think I talked about this in my review. This is a book that I needed to read in that moment. If I had read it at any other time, I wouldn't have liked it as much. The next book is Christopher Columbus and the Enterprise of the Indies, A Brief History with Documents. Another book that I read for a history class in college. I read it, so I felt like I could mark it on my Goodreads. You'll notice I didn't rate it. I don't remember having any feelings about it, but it does have a 3.3 rating with 40 ratings. I don't really think I have anything to add to this. Looking through this, I love this review right here. This person rated it 2 stars. Their review is useful translations and context for Columbus and his voyages. That seems like a pretty positive review, but yet there's a 2-star rating. I don't know. Yeah, we just have lots of just various star ratings on this. I'm guessing the people were just forced to read it. I have no feelings on this book whatsoever. Yeah, let's move on. Okay, the next one is The Cookbook Collector by Allegra Goodman. This has a 3.32 rating with quite a few people. 12,000 people have rated it. This is another one that I have absolutely no memory about. None. I rated it a 3.5. Finally, I have a review written. I said, I feel like some of the storylines got lost in each other. I would have been happy if we just to spell them correctly, if we just followed Jess and Emily. Even though I don't care about Jonathan at all. Sorry. The part I did enjoy reading were those about Jess. The others didn't really affect me. Is that the right effect? Overall, easy and enjoyable read. Not Jane Austen, though. I feel bad for Goodman. No one would ever want to be labeled as the modern Jane Austen. I gave it a pretty fine rating. From what I can tell, people are just saying that this was boring. I guess there wasn't that much of a plot, which I think is funny because I was just saying that Sweet Bitter is completely fine because it's okay to not have a plot, and then I guess I wasn't happy with it here, but who knows. I can't really talk a lot about it because I don't remember it, and also I didn't give it a horrible rating. Like 3.5 is not bad at all. I don't know. If we ask, or if I'm asking myself, does this belong to be at the bottom? I guess I would say no. Even though I don't remember it, I definitely remember other books I dislike a lot more that I would put below it. So I don't think it belongs at the bottom. But the next book is I Want to Be Her: How Friends and Strangers Helped Shape My Style. So this is a book about a woman's style. I went through a phase where I read a lot of these, and I still think they're enjoyable. So this has a 3.34 rating with 192 people rated it. Goodreads is interesting because when you look at the ratings like this, it can be a little deceiving. My guess is that not a lot of people hated this book at all, and it's just that it has probably a lot of 3 and 4 stars, which probably is accurate for what the book is. And just because there's only 192 people rated it, there's not much to average it out. And that's just how it works. It kind of sucks. It's part of the reason why I'm not super into Goodreads. I don't feel like it gives an accurate view of what people think of a book. I think it's really helpful to look at people who you follow and see their reviews. I really like that. But I think as a whole, looking at it to see how like a whole population thinks of a book is not that good. But I don't know how you're going to fix that. You know, that's just how it is. I don't really have thoughts on this. I keep saying that, but I didn't give a review of this. I read it in 2013, but I feel like my 4 stars is probably a little generous for this book. From what I can tell, this book is just about a woman's style and how other people influenced it and all of that, which I think is fine. So yeah, I definitely do not think this belongs as one of the lowest rated books that I've read. Again, it's just a product of having it be not widely read, which is a shame. So the next book is Village Books by Craig McLay. This has a 3.38 average rating with about 2,000 people have read it. I didn't even rate this. This is another book that I read in 2013, have not even an inkling of what it's about. Reading the description, it seems like it's about a bookstore and lots of people are trying to make it survive. It has quite a huge cast of characters. Again, I don't know what I can say about this. I didn't even rate it. I don't remember it at all. Sorry. But looking at the reviews, it just has like, I'm not seeing very many horrible reviews for this. I think this is just another product of it being probably a mediocre book, but not having a lot to, we're having 1s and 2s. I don't know. People are saying it's boring. I don't have thoughts. Sorry. I have no memory of it. Oh my goodness. Okay, the next book is The Beast and the Homecoming Queen. This has a 3.39 rating and only 67 people have reviewed it. So this was in the peak of my post-Twilight phase. I was desperate for any kind of paranormal romance. It's just all I wanted to read. I think at this point I had exhausted the paranormal romance available to me at my library, my school library. This was after reading Hush Hush and that other angel book like Crescendo or something like that. I was just wanting to read anything that had paranormal romance in it. So I found this. There was a website that had free books on it. I don't think it was a sketchy website. I had my fair share of those too. But this one, from what I can remember, it seems like it was mostly just a place for like self-published authors or very small publishing houses to put books on so people can download them and read them and have like a higher reader base. Yeah, that's what it is. Just to get their name out there. So I would go on there and I would go to the teen section and I would just look and download and read anything. Anything, especially if it was paranormal romance. I'm pretty sure this is what this was. I rated it a 3 stars, which is pretty low for my reading then. And it's funny because I have a very distinct memory of reading something from this website. And I remember just thinking, like, I could edit this book. I could edit this book and make it so much better. And I was, 15 at the time? Seeing grammatical errors, spelling errors. Like, I just saw lots of errors. I was like, I could make this better. This needs help. And I really feel like this was this book, but I could be wrong. This is a werewolf romance, clearly. Oh my gosh. On the cover it says, in our fairy tale, I'm not the Prince Charming of your dreams. I'm the beast of your nightmares. Oh, God. Yeah, no wonder I picked it up. Immediately that brings me in. I'm not even going to read the synopsis. I think all you need to know is it's a werewolf paranormal romance. People are saying that the writing was bad, which I think is funny because I also thought that the writing was bad. Not a great book. I feel like this one, I don't remember it being offensive, but I don't remember having a lot going for it. So I feel like maybe it's okay being down there. Okay, so the next book. Oh, that's so interesting. Okay, I would never have guessed that this would be on here. Okay, so we have Vinegar Girl by Anne Tyler. Wow. So I read this in 2017. So I read this junior year of college. And I read it on audio. I remember really liking it. So yeah, I think that this was like a part of a group of authors writing reimagined Shakespeare plays, or retellings, I suppose. And this was specifically Taming of the Shrew, which is one of my favorite Shakespeare plays. Very controversial, but I have lots of feelings on it. So I really wanted to pick it up. I'd also heard of Anne Tyler. I think she's written a lot. I couldn't tell you what else she's written, but I just was aware of her. So this has a 3.39 rating with 30,000 people rating it. And I rated it a 3.75, so I rated it higher than the average. Okay, so this is a retelling of Taming the Shrew. It follows our main character, who is Kate, and her father, I think. Her father works at like this lab that tests on rats, I think, and she has to marry the guy that works there because he's like from Russia and he needs to get a green card, basically. So she marries him just so he can stay there, and the whole thing is that she's the Vinegar Girl. She's negative and mean and bad, I guess. And, you know, he's a jerk too. You know, if you know Taming the Shrew, it's Taming of the Shrew. Let's see what the description says. Oh, she works at a preschool. I forgot about that. Yeah, her dad's lab assistant, so it's not who she works with, but her dad's lab assistant is about to be deported. So her father cooks up a plan that involves his lab assistant marrying Kate. I understand why I wanted to read it. Let's see what my review says. So I give it a 3.75 and said, I really liked this. It's help. Keely, I don't even have an excuse. I wasn't that young when I wrote this. I wasn't young at all. Okay, it's helpful that Taming the Shrew is one of my favorite Shakespeare plays, but I found this really enjoyable. There were some fun parts, and it was a quick read. My main complaint has nothing to do with the story, and it is that this, wow, what is wrong with the writing? Okay. My main complaint has nothing to do with the story, and it is that this is not how 4-year-olds act or talk. That is a huge pet peeve of mine. God, I hate it when kids are written not like kids. I'm guessing that these kids are written like probably 10-year-olds and they're supposed to be 4. I hate that. I cannot stand when people talk down to children and treat them like they don't know anything, because that's so rude. And kids know a whole bunch, but also like they just don't act like adults. They're not adults, so they act differently. So I'm very, very picky of how children are written. Always. And it could go either way. Either they're written too young or written too old. Constantly picky about it. That's one of my pet peeves. So that does not surprise me. So it seems like I liked it. I remember, I have fond memories of this. I said fun parts. I don't know what the fun parts would have been, but let's see what other people said. Okay, I have a few people who've actually reviewed this. I have a real life friend, Autumn. Autumn gave it a 1 star and said, I fucking hated this book. I want to talk to Autumn now and ask why. Sarah with an H reviewed this, gave it a 1 star. She said, really did not like the main character, found the plot to be insanely mundane and dull. I've never read Taming the Shrew. I don't think you needed to read Taming of the Shrew, but I think having an idea of Taming the Shrew makes you more aware that you're going into a book where all the characters are unlikable. And essentially it was lame chick lit. Chick lit's so fine though. Like, we're not getting into that discussion. Just let's not say the chick lit's bad, okay? I thought it was the opposite of thoughtful and relied on a lot of gendered stereotyping. Valid, but also that's kind of the point. I think that I enjoyed this book simply so much because I really love Taming of the Shrew, which I feel like I need to have a whole discussion on because Taming the Shrew is very gender stereotyped, and my enjoyment of the book does not mean that I like the representation. Let's just say that. I've just had good class discussions on it, basically. So I think it's interesting that Sarah from Sarah from H pointed out the gender stereotyping. And I guess you could argue that Anne Tyler is writing this, and when was this published? 2016, I think. Yeah, you could say that Anne Tyler is writing this in 2016, so it should have better representation, but also it's a rewrite of Taming of the Shrew, that's what it is. I don't know. I definitely don't think this belongs at the bottom. I don't think it's the very top. Like, I only gave it a 3.7. I mean, that's good. That's a really good rating, but it's not insane. I didn't give it 5 stars. But it's also interesting because I've thought about reading it again. So, yeah, I don't think it belongs at the bottom. Nope. Okay, next book is Shattered, Dreams Trilogy, number 1. I gave this 3 stars. I gave this 3 stars in 2011? That's so long ago. That's 9 years ago. So this is really peak, like, Twilight times, because that's right after I read Twilight. So this has an average of a 3.4 rating, and like 3,000 people have rated it. Again, I give it a 3 stars, and following with all the others, I did not write a review. So it seems like we have a girl at school and there's a new boy. Ooh, exciting. Ooh, he has an ancient secret. They're in danger. There's a journey. It's paranormal romance. Nothing else about it. I don't know anything else about it. I'm really guessing this is another I got from that website. Like I got from the free books website. I'm guessing maybe it was at the library. I don't know. I have no opinion if it belongs down at the bottom. I gave it 3 stars. That means nothing to me. I want to know. I can do this. It's so easy, but I'm positive the majority of the books I've read are 3 stars, and I'm positive that just means like, I don't know what else to say about it. So, yeah, I have no way of saying if this should be at the bottom or not, because I really don't remember it at all. Paranormal romance. That's all we gotta know, though, right? Okay, how many have I rated? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's my 10th one. I'm gonna do a few more. Actually, not. I've been filming for a while, but I'll do it. I'm gonna do a few more just so I can have talked about 10 in a way that's substantial. Like, so many of these I have no memory of. Speaking of. Ethan Frome by Edith Wharton. So this I read for school. I think I read it senior year of high school. I'm going to be honest with you. All I remember about it is snow, and there's a scene where someone's on a sled, and I think they fall off it and hurt themselves. Okay, I rated it 3 stars, and I'm now looking at my review. My review says, I kind of loved the ending. Just suicide by double sledding into a tree? ? What does that mean, double sledding into... So I was right about sledding in a tree, but what is double sledding? 2 people? This person wanted to die, so I have no idea. Romantic tragedy. Oh, maybe they were in love, and so they both sledded into a tree and died. People are like talking about sledding accidents isn't dramatic and isn't like warranted for such a predominant thing. Anyway, I don't know why this is so low. It has a 3.41. I don't have feelings about it. Apparently I kind of loved the ending, which questionable. Why? I don't know what that says about me, but okay, we're going to move on from there. I don't know much about this one. I would guess I probably wouldn't put it at the very bottom, but again, I don't remember it. Is that bad? How many times am I going to say I don't remember it? Ugh. Who knows? Okay. Fun. Here we go. So, we have Twilight. Specifically, Twilight, The Life and Death. Do you remember in 2015 when Stephanie Meyer was like, I'm writing another Twilight book, but what it is Twilight, but everything's gender swapped? And we were like, okay, sure. And got excited and read it. So I read this. Pretty certain I did not pay for it or get it in a good way. Don't remember what that was about, but I don't really regret it now. I gave it 3 stars. That's too high. That's too high, Keely. Let's lower that. I don't know what's going on there. Let's talk about this for a second. Let's talk about the scam that is Life and Death by Stephanie Meyer. Let's talk about how she went through, did a control F to find every time she said she or he and just literally flipped it. That's what it is. Because I read it back to back. I read Twilight and then immediately read Life and Death. And it's the exact same book. Which I guess sounds kind of dumb, but you would think that there would be some other things going on, but she just literally switched the names and the pronouns. All of the dialogue was exactly the same. The very ending is different. I was going to say I'm not going to spoil it, but I don't care. I'm spoiling it. Sorry. Go and read Life and Death before you listen to this if you want. But at the very end, instead of having Bella stay human, the Bella character, I don't remember his name, he becomes a vampire. Then that's the end. My review is, I don't know how I feel. I do know how I feel. There was a scam. It was stupid. It was pointless. Why did you do this? It was a blatant money grab that didn't need to exist. I don't know why I'm so upset about it. I'm not upset about it. I just think it's stupid. Absolutely belongs to the bottom. Absolutely belongs at the bottom. I feel like that's a good place to end. We had a lot of books in there that I didn't have an opinion about and didn't remember at all, so I think it's fitting that we ended on a book that I actually remembered and had things to say. So, thank you for watching, even though this was a weird video to film. Maybe I should have pre-screened it and selected books to talk about that I actually had feelings on, but this was fun. You had my immediate and quick reactions. So keep your eyes peeled for another video. A similar theme, but a little bit different. We'll see. Hopefully that'll be going up next week. But yeah, this was fun. This was enjoyable. There was some shocking ones in there, and like I said, a lot that I just had no idea. Wow, I'm glad that I got to revisit those paranormal romance days. Are they really days? Is it over? I don't think my paranormal romance phase is gone. I'm just more picky now, so there's more that I dislike than I used to. Anyway, yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. I will have all the things that need to be linked below. I'll put Jean's video. I'll put videos that I know that I've watched that are the similar theme down below for you to peruse. I'm sure they had more insightful things to talk about the books that were on their lists than I did. Hope you're having a great day, and I will see you next time. Bye. That's a ladybug that keeps flying on my window. But I can't tell because, it's only the underside of the ladybug, and the identifying part of the ladybugs are on the top side. Yep. Now I'm going to explain that. That's how it works, yeah. And that's it. Okay.